did it change your life or not? Because I think people assume that those kind of views, set you up for another career then on YouTube.
Yeah. It's not as lucrative. The pay isn't as lucrative as some people think. But yeah, it's enough for me to do this as a full-time job now. Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely changed my life because I get to do these adventures and get paid for it, and I get to, inspire people, which is, it's a real privilege, to when I see these young lads or girls tell me that, oh, this has inspired them to get off their arse and, go out and do adventures or just put themselves out their comfort zone. I need to keep reminding myself of that and how lucky I am to be able to give that gift, So I've got to just relish it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like it did that for me as well. Definitely watching it, thinking, I don't know, you just want to get out and do it as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, you feel like you're experiencing it anyway. But yeah, that's wicked. And a lot of people do think that YouTube probably pays a lot better than it does, and it's not the same as what it was probably 10 years ago, is it?
Yeah, I think the way you would make the most money on YouTube is through sponsorships. You see a lot of these adverts for things like, what's the common one now? Raid Shadow Legends and um, VPN, NordVPN and stuff like that. I considered doing, but I haven't done anything like that yet. I'd rather do an advert with a company that, I don't know, like Garmin or, some hiking boots or hiking clothes, so that I can actually wholeheartedly say this is a good product and I would buy it myself.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of equipment that you really put into the test and things like that as well. But actually, what did you use for water? Did you have a water filter with you so you could stay by a stream and just pick
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, that little blue tube with the pouch. Yeah, it's great. It's called the
Is it the Sawyer one?
Sawyer. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sawyer mini filter. I
So
really like that thing.
I took it the other day to do a wild camp, but we didn't end up needing it. I took so much water, which was probably a waste of space. I think that's one of the things you learn as well is I've got so much in the bag. I need to empty it up a little bit, make more room, but it's all learning.
Yeah, well, yeah, water does weigh a lot, but it's funny. The last time I went on a hike with my mates, who are kind of a bit less experienced, I said, look, all you need is the mini filter. That's all you need. Don't bring 2 liters of water in the bag. But just so happened that we went up onto this ridge and we didn't pass a stream for hours and hours, and we were absolutely, our mouths were like Gandhi's flip flop, so so it was like sometimes you can't plan for it. It's you should always take water as well, just in case. So.
Yeah, I suppose you want to be so prepared that sometimes you go over the top, but then, like you say, you can shoot yourself in the foot, I guess, like that.
You can,
So
yeah,
it
yeah.
is easily done. Um, I want to ask shortly about like some of the things you've got coming up because I've seen little hints of things online,
Uh-huh.
but we haven't even talked about the second attempt. And obviously, you took Greg, your friend. What's your sort of background with Greg? Is that your friend from a childhood friend?
Yeah, he's a childhood friend. We met as little kids in primary school, and his dad ended up being with my mom for a good number of years, and we did everything together. Like we are like brothers. We're like brothers, and we used to do our bond is particularly relevant because we used to do these mad adventures, exploring the countryside and abandoned places. I mostly did it with him in the younger years, and we used to get such a thrill from doing it together. So that bond is just that adventurous bond together is just everlasting, So it was so great to do How Not to Travel Europe with him, and then to finally do a straight line mission with him was just like it was so magical.
What was like the, obviously you have the company, but what were the main things you noticed from attempt one on your own to attempt two being with Greg? Like, does it?
There was definitely some uh, positives and negatives. So the main negative, I mean, it's fine. It's nothing you can't account for, but it's just slightly slower paced because you know, if there's a really tricky hedgerow, you've both got to get over it. So you're waiting for the next person to do it. Um, so there's that. We definitely ate more. But mainly it was great because, you know, we had each other to share the experience with, and yeah, we had each other for kind of company on the night time. We had a nice fire going and we could chat and reminisce about the day. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like it's obviously going to take twice as long to do certain bits. With,
Pretty much, yeah.
with the food, I haven't even asked about that, but obviously these are things that go through your head when you're watching it. Is it hard to pack enough food for the adventure? And then did you have somewhere where you pick more food up?
Yeah, we the main issue was we had a load of food. Greg eats like a horse, you know, Greg eats like a horse. And we yeah, we made a stash about sort of, I think it was about 16 miles in. But because we were going slightly slower and we had a bit of a late start, which set us back, we really struggled to get to that stash point in time. But we did do it. But and then after that, then we were running out of food, and we were in talks with going to this petrol state. Well, getting someone from a petrol station to meet us with more supplies. So yeah, it food was an issue, and because of Greg's condition, the Addisons, he needs to eat more as well. But this is something we will sort out for our next mission that we're going to do together in March, which will be Scotland. So that's going to be great because Greg now has he knows exactly what to do. He knows he needs to eat more food, take more medication. Obviously, we'll get to that whole thing of what happened, but yeah, we're looking forward to the next one basically.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I was thinking Scotland. I was thinking where would be like awesome places to go, and obviously the places that come to mind, Scotland and Norway and like, places like that. I think,
Mm,
and Iceland. You know, like around just those sort of scenic
yeah,
areas, and be interesting to see that. Um, Talking about that, is it Addison's? Is that what it's called? That Greg's got,
Addison's, yeah, yeah,
and that's that. There was a episode where sort of towards the end of the second attempt where he had issues with that. Would you be able to talk
yeah,
us through what happened with that?
yeah. Basically, I think it was on the fourth day, and we were just over halfway through, um, and yeah, he just, you know, he just started to feel weak, dizzy, and kind of like slumped back on the floor, and he was basically having some sort of Addisonian crisis, which is basically similar to if a diabetic person were to have whatever it is that they have, like, you know, and they
Yeah,
need their EpiPen to, you know, jumpstart them back into life, sort of thing. And it was really worrying because we were in the most remote, like wooded gorge, and yeah, so we were far from medical help, and yeah, so it was a bit touch and go. Greg was fine in the end, but you know, he had to call it a day there, and I had to kind of make sure that he was escorted to safety. And in doing so, we left the line,